rolling. If you're ready, we're rolling. Let's do what we do.
Well, that sounds good. Here we go.
All right.
Recording in progress.
What a pleasure to welcome to the show Sean Patrick Flannery. I already like him already. Come on, I like his name. Plus, I've seen him on Young and the Restless, The Boys, a ton of different roles that he's played over the years. So he's quite an accomplished actor, and now he plays the lead role in Nefarious. And let me tell you, I saw the previews for it, and I think this movie is going to be a home run. In fact, I'm running out to see it. That's how excited I am about it. And again, we're thrilled to have him on. So, Sean, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about this role and how it came about and what it was like really embracing this, let's face it, kind of a dark character, needless to say.
Well, it came about, I'd initially done a film with Chuck and Carrie, the writers and directors, in 2004. And at the culmination of that film, I told them I loved working with you guys and I would do a Fruit Loops commercial with y'all. Well, a year and a half ago, they called me and they said, Flannery, we got a Fruit Loops commercial. And I said, let's go do it. And they said, whoa, hang on. Let us send you the script. You tell us if you want to do it. I read the script. It is one of the most surgically crafted scripts I've ever read in my life. And I called them back and I said, absolutely, I'm in. And they said, well, which role do you want to play? And I said, well, I'd love to play Nefarious. And they said, thank God, yes. And we went and we made it. I've never read a script like this that moved me that much, that was that well crafted. It's very rare for me to have an opportunity to do a character like this. I mean, these are the roles that A-list actors get, and I know I've made a career out of doing movies that nobody sees. So the fact that it landed in my lap is kind of, palms up.
So you get it, you love it, you read it, you're ready to roll. How do you prepare for a role like Nefarious?
You know, the wonderful thing about preparation for a wonderful script is the more well-written a script is, the less preparation is required. My preparation was contained between fade in and fade out. And that's not an over-exaggeration. I didn't take any of the character home with me. That character died on the word cut and was created on the word action. And like I said, sometimes you need to go outside to fill in the gaps in a script. This script had no gaps, in my opinion. I simply sat down in a chair and I said the words.
And boy, and what a tribute that is to the script again that you read. So tell me about the other actors in it, because it seemed like, and again, this is just basing on what I've seen, that there was some real chemistry there.
Well, I got to tell you, one of my biggest concerns in doing this film, and I told Chuck and Carrie this, I said, who's going to be sitting on the other side of the table? Because, I mean, it's largely a what they call a two-hander. And when they suggested Jordan Belfi, and I did my research on him, you know, they cast him. I would not want to do this film with anyone else on the other side of the table than Jordan. I thought he was magnificent in this role. He was a wonderful dance partner, professional, punctual. He knew everything top to bottom. It was an effortless experience with him. I can't imagine doing it with anybody else.
Yeah. So when you do this, you're excited about it, and here's the big day. What's that like for you? Is there any butterflies? I mean, you're a pro, but this is a huge role, like you said, for you. Are you excited to see how this does?
That's understatement of the year. Am I excited? You know, I've made a career out of doing movies that nobody sees. So, I mean, the fact that this is coming to theaters across the country is kind of crazy. It's neat for me and my wife and my family to see the posters at movie theaters. It's a big deal. Like I said, I hope people enjoy it. I hope people go to see it, and I hope when they do that they enjoy it. This is why you get into the business, movies like this, and I'm honored, and it is a true privilege. So I look forward to the coming weeks and see if people actually received it.
And doing this, where it's like a psychological thriller, and your character's in prison, and you said you had to trust Jordan because it's that two-hander, and you're going back and forth, and there's so much dialogue. And again, you're a pro, but there's a lot of dialogue in this for you, and you're really counting counting on that relationship. So it had to be gratifying to be able to pull this off, right?
Well, there was a heavy word count. There really was. But I've never been afraid of heavy lifting. I love a challenge, and this role was a challenge for me. But that's why I packed up my car after college and I drove out to LA, because I hoped one day in my career I would get a role like this. So I think, I'm not saying I succeeded or I failed, but I certainly had been preparing a long time, for a fastball over home plate. And I swung as hard as I could, and we'll see where the ball lands.
Yeah, and since you got in that car and you drove out and decided you were going to do the acting thing, do you feel fortunate in some of the roles that you have gotten and the kind of career you've had? Because you have a big body of work.
Let me tell you, I haven't had to get a real job in 30 years. I mean, it's not lost on me. I've had real jobs. I changed the deep fat fryer at Church's Fried Chicken. I moved pianos for Atlas Van Lines. I literally dug ditches. I put culverts under driveways. The fact that I've been gainfully employed and been able to feed my family and house my family while playing make-believe and pretend on movie sets, it's not lost on me. I mean, I am incredibly blessed. I'm incredibly grateful. And I hope it doesn't stop.
I love it. Great to spend some time with you. Nefarious. It opens wide. Like you said, it's in theaters across the country. We do these movie reviews here on my show. People go and support Sean and support this movie. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Recording stopped.